Welcome to the Know. I'm Jenkins.
I'm Meg Turney.
You're probably not looking for any brain teasers heading into the weekend, but go ahead and try to untwist all the layers behind the news that one of the best sports teams in one of the biggest leagues in the entire world just hired an eSports player.
Take that. And what sounds like the ultimate Voltron of people playing silly games for massive amounts of money, German soccer team, or football team, if you hate freedom, Wolfsburg, just hired They just hired one of the UK's best FIFA players to represent their team in esports tournaments.
Yo, dog, I heard you like sports, so I'm putting sports in your esports, back in your sports for esports?
Nailed it.
I think I did that right. 22-year-old David, by the way, which is spelled by the way, who's been playing FIFA professionally since he was 17, is officially part of Wolfsburg's payroll now and will be wearing the team's jersey when he competes in FIFA events and streams his own matches online.
Don't expect David BT dubs on the field with the team anytime soon, though. Right now, he still lives in England, love boys from there, and expects the English Premier League, probably the biggest and best of the football leagues, to get in on the esports action in the near future.
I like that he just figures he'll wait for another team to pay him.
Yeah,
that's
why not?
What you can do now. The reason the Germans signed him first, BT Dubs reckons it's a new market for them, he thinks. Esports is growing so much every year with all the viewers it's generating. Wolfsburg can see the potential, and so they want to be the first to do it.
Okay, so does this mean we can finally ditch the conversation about whether or not esports are legitimate?
Of course not. Then what would we fight about?
What would we fight about? They're filling up stadiums, playing for massive amounts of money in front of even more massive live and online audiences, and now they're being hired by actual sports organizations. This guy is literally on the roster of a real sports team.
And we mean literally the way it's meant to be used.
Yes.
We are using the R word in as an esports story. Real. Might as well go all the way at this point. Let's burn it all down and ask, does this make esports real sports?
And the comment section goes wild. You're all jerks. We'll let you guys debate the finer points of whether or not esports are quote-unquote real or not. I'm sure you have lots of thoughts because we've seen them before. But you cannot deny that there are lines that are getting awfully blurry in some of these instances.
For one, ESPN recently launched its esports vertical, so it covers esports just as much as it covers NASCAR, golf, or any number of those other bizarre Olympic sports. And in all honesty, judging from the activity, it might cover some of the esports even more than some of those real sports. We even saw Halo 5 coverage included in the X Games this last weekend, much to the chagrin of some other former participants who think you should have to bleed to get a medal. Not naming names.
Yeah, well, we're naming names. But more pressing than the discussion of whether or not esports are real sports or not, yes, things are more pressing than that. Less fun, but more pressing, is the discussion of why the traditional sports industry is getting so darn interested in video games. We've already mentioned ESPN and the X Games, but the crossovers actually do go a lot deeper than that, and in a few very surprising ways.
You know, one of the big reasons, probably, is brand awareness. FIFA itself provides one of the biggest blueprints for how video games can easily give rise to more sports fans. A great deal of research has gone into the upswing of soccer's popularity in the United States, and EA's FIFA games is a factor.
David Beckham may have helped too. God,
probably, maybe just a little bit. I mean, single-handedly getting his team so much attention just by showing it that they score a 5-year, $20 million jersey sponsorship. He's hot.
But also FIFA. Since 2010, the FIFA games have surged in popularity, drawing in a staggering global audience. In 2014, FIFA accounted for 25% of EA's revenue. The other 75% was made up of season passes.
So I wondered what that was.
Simple math, guys.
Fabulous. Or maths, if you're European. According to ESPN, the percentage of Americans who identify as avid pro soccer fans has grown every year since 2009. During that same period, FIFA game sales in the U.S. increased by 35%. Because of this, many esports analysts are predicting traditional esports games like Madden and FIFA in particular to see some of the most growth in the coming years.
But maybe it's the other way around, and maybe soccer made the games more popular.
Great point. But ESPN to the rescue again. A poll conducted on the site revealed that, in fact, 35% of FIFA players said they became legitimate soccer fans after playing the game. 50% of FIFA players became more interested in watching soccer.
Wow. When you consider that FIFA 15 sold more than 800,000 copies in the US alone in its first 9 months of release, that's potentially 400,000 new people watching soccer in 2015 alone because of a video game.
Now, we actually saw that last night thanks to EA going big in the annual Madden Bowl, which is officially part of the Super Bowl festivities. At this year's Madden Bowl, 2 top NFL players threw down for a massive trophy and bragging rights, while esports players competed over a $50,000 grand prize, all in front of 3,000 people.
And this was actually a big deal to the NFL players, believe it or not. One of the finalists, Kansas City Chiefs safety Eric Berry, lobbied to get into the tournament because of how much he loves to play Madden. Many of the other players interviewed at the event last night said that for them, they first dreamed of going to the NFL not because of playing outside with their friends, but because of playing video games.
On sync.
Synergy.
Yeah, love it. So that's one reason that sports are reaching across television screens and wires to gamers. They know it creates new fans. The other big reason, which we sort of just touched on, more gamers are participating in professional sports. And for them, playing video games is just as legitimate as anything else they do.
Rick Fox, a former NBA player, has jumped into esports in a big way by starting the League of Legends team Echo Fox. In addition to all the money he hopes to make, Fox said that everything in esports mirrors his experiences in the NBA, which is part of why he loves it so much.
But more than that, he said that video games were a huge part of his childhood, and they became even more special to him when he started playing World of Warcraft with his son, who helped him when he was forming his League of Legends team.
More NBA crossovers into LoL might be in the cards, just thanks to Mark Cuban, owner of the Dallas Mavericks, who keeps hinting that he'd like to start a team of his own. After winning a LoL match at IEM a couple of months back, that's pretty impressive, Cuban said to a cheering crowd, "I love it. It's like playing 5-dimensional chess against the world. It's one of the smartest games I've ever played. You gotta have dexterity, you gotta be quick. This is a real sport and people are going to figure it out real quick."
Oh man, there's that R word again from Mark Cuban. That all actually happened. The rumor about Cuban starting a LoL team comes from TMZ, by the way, which also now covers esports, I guess. What a world. You can get all of your celebrity gossip and your esports coverage.
What a world indeed. And while that world keeps arguing about whether or not esports are real, we gotta start bleeping it at this point in these stories, real sports organizations are taking notice of them in a big way.
At this point, the debate may be out of our hands. We could actually see a future where every professional sports franchise also has an esports roster, whether anybody likes it and agrees with the definition or not.
So the moral of the story is esports may not get you sweaty,
Hey.
or they might, but you don't have to get sweaty to make ridiculous amounts of money.
Thank God, because sweat's gross. So what do you guys think of sports teams hiring real esports players now? How do you feel about the R word?
Oh, I'm sure you're gonna argue about that in the comments. To get the most recent esports stats and news about David Beckham's ass,
Oh, anything.
like this video and subscribe to the now.
He just can't talk. If he just doesn't talk, he's beautiful, beautiful.
I think that having a football team is lovely. Look at my awesome David Beckham. Kick the ball. He doesn't really jump like that. But
He might. You don't know he doesn't. Victoria might ask him to do all kinds of crazy things. I heard they're getting divorced.